I'm the business bishop, on a mission so divine. Coaching up the kingdom, watch your glory start to shine. Step into your purpose, let ambition be your guide. Grow your greatness high with faith right by your side. In the marketplace, calling, hear the angels sing. You cannot lose when faith meets the grind. Stand up, take action, leave the fear behind. With a vision so strong, there's no way you'll fail. The kingdom is your canvas, let your spirit sail. Bishop Wayne's in your corner, together we'll break through. Victory's a choice and today you're gonna choose. Living out your dreams, ain't no time for second best. Fulfill your destiny, put your limits to the test. Break those chains, rise up, find your flow. You cannot lose when faith meets the grind. Stand up, take action, leave the fear behind. With a vision so strong, there's no way you'll fail. The kingdom is your canvas, let your spirit sail. When the marketplace call it, in the marketplace call it. In your corner, together we'll break through. Victory's a choice, and today you're gonna choose. Living out your dreams, ain't no time for second best. Fulfill your destiny, put your limits to the test. Break those chains, rise up, find your flow. Find your flow. You cannot lose when faith meets the grind. Stand up, take action, leave the fear behind. With a vision so strong, there's no way you'll fail. The kingdom is your canvas, let your spirit sail. Rise up, business bishop, let your victory roar. Coaching for the kingdom, you're destined for more. Rise up, business bishop, let your victory roar. Coaching for the kingdom, you're destined for more.
Hey friends, it's the Business Bishop and welcome to another Kingdom Conversation. I'm so excited and delighted to be a part of your life and legacy through this ministry. I'm congratulating each and every one of you that have subscribed to the channel and want to encourage everyone to subscribe, like, comment, and of course share. Well, I have another treat for you in this celebration week and indeed celebration month and indeed celebration year. Yeah, I'm celebrating, but I have a very special treat for you. I'm going to take you into one of our private webinars that was hosted on the Zoom platform, and it is entitled The New Way to Wealth. The New Way to Wealth. At the end of this session, I have a very important announcement for you and you won't want to miss it. So do watch it right till the very end. All right, let's dive in. The New Way to Wealth. Okay, so welcome to the New Way to Wealth and Path to Prosperity webinar with me, your host, Bishop Wasyne Malcolm, the Business Bishop, live and direct, always excited and delighted to be a part of your life and legacy through this ministry. I am, of course, celebrating each and every one of you that jumped through the hoops to go ahead and register for the webinar and then show up for the webinar. You are super special. And because you've done this, I'm going to give you my very best tonight. I'm going to pour out as much as I possibly can in the time permitted. And I pray that we'll share some ideas, some concepts, some principles, some strategies that will bless you for life and that will bless your children's children and impart to you the generational blessing. All right, let us pray. Father, in the glorious and victorious name of your Son, our Savior, Jesus, we're grateful for another opportunity to connect, to share, to learn, and to grow. Thank you so much for this kingdom community, this tribe, these warriors who have come to the kingdom and come to the marketplace for such a time as this. Father, we are praying for wisdom, revelation, understanding in the knowledge of Christ, understanding in the knowledge of our calling. And we pray, Lord, that you be glorified and magnified in this session. And this is our prayer in Jesus' mighty name. And all the people said amen. Please do shout your amen in the chat box. In the chat box, which I encourage you to utilize as your virtual voice. So this is the new way to wealth and path to prosperity. And I'm going to kick off tonight with the mystery of wealth. There is a mystery when it comes to wealth. I'm going to talk about income generating assets, the 4 T's, the new age, the new opportunity, and the new way. So the mystery of wealth is in the history of wealth. The mystery of wealth is in the history of wealth. And I call this the mystery of wealth because I think that most people have literally no idea how to go about creating wealth. And certainly the school system does not teach us how to create wealth. In fact, subjects related to wealth creation are mysteriously missing from the curriculum, so that we can go through the entire school system knowing little or nothing about money, knowing little or nothing about leadership, knowing little or nothing about the commercial world and arena, knowing little or nothing about investments, or becoming an investor. And all of the things that would give us an advantage, a financial advantage, seem to be missing from the educational system. And the reason it's missing is because the educational system was never meant to create a level playing field in which people who had aspiration, passion, conviction, discipline could go ahead and live out their dreams, realize their goals. It was never made for that. It was actually a factory for the mass production of a new kind of slave. The mass production of a new kind of slave, a passive slave, an obedient slave, a voluntary slave, and and a slightly knowledgeable slave when it came to the component part that they would play in society, but a slave nonetheless, and typically a slave to wages, a wage slave. And so this was a factory designed to mass produce wage slaves. And a lot of people look at the education system and say, well, it's broken, we need to fix it. When actually the educational system is not broken, it is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is churning out millions of miseducated, misinformed, misdirected, and misled individuals who have no clue as to what it takes to become wealthy, to become independent, to become financially secure, stable, strong. No clue whatsoever, because all of the subjects that would give them that advantage are mysteriously missing from the curriculum. And they are not missing accidentally, they are missing intentionally and quite deliberately. And so what we have is this mystery of wealth. But if you want to understand the mystery of wealth, it is in the history of wealth. So if you look at how wealth was created in each age, in each era, in each economic age and era, you will understand exactly how wealth can be created today. Woo! Someone need to be screaming in the chat box. I think that's a brilliant introduction. So here goes. In every economic age, wealth belonged to a privileged few. So the idea that everyone's going to be wealthy, everyone can be wealthy, I guess theoretically everyone can be wealthy because God has created this abundant world in which there's more than enough for everyone to have more than enough. But in reality, very few people are going to be wealthy, and you are going to have to decide whether you're going to be among the few who do or among the many who talk, whether you are going to be among the few who enjoy or the many who complain. Because in every economic age, wealth belonged to a privileged few. Who were the few? The few were the owners of the assets. The owners of the assets. I want you to write that word, that phrase in the chat box, owners of the assets. The few who were wealthy were the few who owned the assets. And they owned those assets by way of inheritance. Either they inherited ownership of these assets or by war. So they literally invaded other territories and took assets by force, or they purchased those assets, or they were gifted assets. Perhaps a king would gift land to someone who had served the kingdom well. So in every economic age, wealth belonged to a privileged few. The few were the owners of the assets, and they owned assets by way of inheritance, war, purchase, or gift. The way to wealth in every economic age has always involved the ownership of income-generating assets. Income-generating assets. So you had to own an asset that generated income for you. If you think of income as water, okay, then the wealthy were those that owned wells. Okay, they dug and they owned wells, and the well was an income generating asset. So those who owned the assets generated the income and they became wealthy. And I want us to understand what an income generating asset is. And perhaps in order to understand this, you need to think about the difference between the source and the supply. The source and the supply. So this is the farm versus the food. Okay. So those who became wealthy owned the farm and not just some food. It's the difference between the trees and the fruits. Okay. So if you were to be wealthy, you had to own the tree because the tree was the income generating asset. It's the difference between the well and the water. If you wanted to be wealthy in every economic age, you had to own the well. You had to own the well because the well was your income generating asset. The difference between the boat and the fish. Okay. So, of course, you've heard the saying, and we'll probably say it later on, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach him how to fish, you're going to feed him for life. But actually, if you give him a boat, a net, and a skill set, what you've given to him is an income-generating asset. So the wealthy owned the boats, right? And the poor ate fish. Where did they get the fish from? They got the fish from the people who owned the boats. The people that had the boats, the nets, and the skill sets, the poor came to them, cap in hand, or with whatever little money they had to purchase the fish. So the boat became an income generating asset. And it's the difference between the source and the supply. The wealthy value the source while the poor value the supply. The wealthy value the source while the poor value the supply. And I think that's really important because I guess what we're describing here is a value system and a way of thinking. A value system and a way of thinking. See, being wealthy or being poor, being rich or being poor has more to do with a state of mind than it does to do with with your bank balance. Okay, your state of mind is more important than your bank balance. And the state of mind of people who became wealthy in every economic era and every economic age was that they valued the source over the supply. So they said, okay, look, we need food. We need food, but what we want is a farm. We need fruits, but what we want is trees and groves. We want water. We need water, but what we want is a well. We need fish, but what we really want is a boat. We need the supply, but what we want is the source. And when you begin thinking this way, you are now thinking rich thoughts, right? You're thinking rich thoughts because you're thinking, you know what? I need an income generating asset. I don't just need to be a consumer, I need to become a producer. I don't just need to be a buyer, I need to be a seller. And in order to become a seller, I need to have something, I need to own something, whether it's the farm, whether it's the trees, whether it's the well, whether it's the boat, but I need an income generating asset. If this is making sense, somebody shout in the chat box, because you can go through the entire school system and not understand the simple principle that actually you can only create wealth by owning income generating assets. So that if you have a goal, if you have a financial goal, okay, or if you have a vision for your future, for your life, your lifestyle, and your legacy, that vision must include the acquisition and ownership of income generating assets. Because unless you own the income generating assets, you're at the mercy of those who do own them. So, what is the difference between an asset and a liability? Because the opposite of the asset is the liability. What's the difference between an asset and a liability? Okay, so here goes. An asset is anything that makes you money or that appreciates in value over time. So if it makes money for you, it's an asset, or if it appreciates in value over time so that you can sell it for more than you bought it, then it is considered an asset. That's an asset. So I want you to think about assets as things that make money for you or that appreciate in value over time. A liability, on the other hand, is anything that costs you money or that loses value over time. So, you may decide, look, I've made some money. I'm going to buy myself a luxury car. I'm going to buy myself a sport car. I'm going to buy myself the latest car, and I'm going to buy that. Okay. The problem is that the minute you drive the car off of the forecourt of the garage, it has lost value. And so you can no longer sell it for what you bought it. You have to sell it for less than you bought it. In this respect, the car, as much as it feels good, is actually a liability. It's not an asset. It's taking money from you, or it is depreciating in value over time. And again, this is important because you can go through the entire school system, entire educational system, and not even understand the difference between an asset and a liability, so that you end up working hard in order to purchase liabilities. So that money is always moving away from you. Wealth is always evading you because you're working hard to earn money that you're going to spend on liabilities. Whereas the rich mind, the wealthy mind says, I want to earn money so I can buy assets, so I can buy things that make even more money for me or that appreciate in value over time. So you'll find that the rich mind turns around and says, okay, look, I'm going to make some money because I want to start investing in residential real estate. And then the idea is, look, I'm going to buy this home, I'm going to do it up, and I'm going to put it out for rent. So they put it out on the rental market. So they're earning an income from the rent, and they're also retaining the asset of the house, which is appreciating in value over time. And so they're going to do that once, they're going to do it twice, they're going to do it 3 times, 4 times. And before you know it, what they have now is this income generating asset, because they've decided that what I want to do with my money, with my disposable income, is buy assets, right? So wealthy people are looking for investments, opportunities to grow their money, and not simply to spend their money, waste their money, or simply save their money. They want to grow their money, and they know the only way to grow it is to buy income generating assets. So difference between an asset and a liability. I'm going to break it down a little bit deeper and say that anything that makes more money than it costs you to buy is an asset. So
if it cost me X amount to buy, but it makes more than that for me, then this was not an expense. This was an investment. It's very important that you start differentiating between expenses and investments, because otherwise you're going to be hesitant when it comes to investments. You're going to avoid making investments because in your mind it's an expense. It's you're losing money. But actually, the wealthy mind, the rich mind, has always considered the purchasing of assets as investments, not as expenses. So if it makes more money than it costs you to buy, it is an asset. If you can sell it for more than it costs you to buy, it's an asset. It's an investment. If it makes money for you, it's an investment. If it makes money, but not more than it costs, it is still a liability. Wow. So there are some things you could buy that would make you some money, but you're constantly either breaking even or you're at a loss because it's not making more than it costs you to buy or to maintain. And in this respect, it's a liability. And if you're going to become wealthy, you're going to have to cut your losses, stop buying liabilities, and start investing in assets and start prioritizing assets, income generating assets. Can I hear an amen in the chat box from somebody? Wish I had my sound effects out here. I'm just going to have to keep them going in my head. Now, this is perhaps one of the most profound insights when it comes to business, and it is that income follows assets. Income follows assets. So when you're building a business, the temptation is to focus entirely on marketing and sales, or to focus entirely on the service you offer or the product that you make, when actually your focus needs to be creating assets in your business, because the more assets that you have in the business is the more income that the business is going to generate. Okay? So, today I recorded a tutorial, right? I recorded a tutorial on how to use a particular software that's particularly designed for authors. Okay. So I recorded that today. And then I thought, you know what? Once I've recorded it and I have it as a recording and edited it, and it was beautiful, right? I realized this is a business asset. It's an asset. Why? Because it allows me to teach many people at one time exactly how to use that software. And, if I didn't record it and just taught every individual that I met how to use the software, then I'd be trading time for money. But by creating the asset, okay, in the form of a simple tutorial, then what I've created is the possibility of scaling that particular training so that more and more people can come into that training, more and more people can buy into that training, and they can come into that training, without compromising my most valuable asset, which is my time. So to generate a bigger income, you must own bigger or better assets. So give a man a fish, you'll feed him for a day. Give him a boat, a net, and a skill set, and you'll feed him for life. So his income is going to follow the assets. And I guess the idea here is that the fool looks for an income, but the wise look for an asset. The fool looks for an income, the wise look for an asset. Now, Bishop Wasyne, how can you say that with such authority? How can you say that unequivocally? Well, I can say it because the richest man who ever lived, King Solomon, was very clear in his writings that there's something more important to him than riches, than silver, than gold, than power, than status, something even more important to him. And it boiled down to wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and a good name. And as far as he was concerned, these things were more important. Why? Because they generate income. Okay. As opposed to, uh, as opposed to, you know, things, simply using income to buy things that satisfy temporary needs. These things were more important because they would generate the income. So if I have these, then the income is guaranteed. But if I have money without these, the money's going to run out. So income follows assets. And if you're a fool, all you're looking for is an income. But if you're wise, what you're looking for is assets that generate income for you and that generates income while you sleep. Someone need to be screaming in the chat box. It is impossible to become wealthy without the ownership of assets. So you don't have to take my word for that. You can just ask any wealthy person. You can read the autobiographies of any person that became wealthy. You can look at the history of wealth, and you'll see it's impossible to become wealthy without the ownership of assets. The difference between those who buy the food and those who own the farm. Like, if you're going to become wealthy, you cannot spend the rest of your life buying the food, right? Working a job that pays you enough to buy the food. You'll never become wealthy. You literally have to own the farm. And so that starts, in your mind as a way of thinking, as a paradigm shift, as an understanding that now informs your goals, your vision, your values. They're now informed by your understanding that actually I'll never become rich by working for money to buy food, but I will become rich if I can find a way to own a farm. Wow and wow. Is that all right, or is that all right? This is the difference between the producers and the consumers. You never become rich as a consumer, but you will become rich if you can become a producer. This is the difference between the buyers and the sellers. Guess what? If you're going to become wealthy, you have to get on the right side of the cash flow, on the right side of the cash flow. What does that mean? It means that money is always moving because it was made to move, because it has no value outside of its movement. Money has no value outside of its movement. Put $100 million on a desert island and it has no value. It only has value when it's moving, when it's being exchanged for goods and services. So cash is, we think of cash flow, the movement of money. We refer to cash as liquid because it was made to move. The issue is that cash is only ever flowing in one direction. It's only ever moving in one direction. That is from the buyer to the seller. Money is moving in one direction only, from the buyer to the seller. Now, every time I sit in a restaurant, I look around and I consider this. I sit in the restaurant, okay, and there may be 50 others, there may be 100 other people in that restaurant. And as I look around that restaurant, I realize that a wealth transfer is taking place. I realize that money is moving, but it's moving in only one direction. It's moving from the buyers to the seller. So it's moving from the consumers to the producers. Okay, that's how it's moving. And it only ever moves in that direction. Someone said, oh no, well, I'm an employee and I earn money every month and I'm not selling anything. I'm not buying anything. I'm just working my job. But actually, you earn money in a job, okay, by selling your services to an employer, selling your time to an employer, and so you get paid because the money only ever moves from the buyer to the seller. When you're running a business, you've taken the limits off of how much money you can earn, because the problem in the job is that you only have one buyer for your services, and that is your employer. You have one buyer for your services, that is your employer. When you own a business, you can have 100 buyers of your service. You can have 1,000 buyers of your service. You can have even more buyers of your services, in which case more cash flows to you. The cash is only ever flowing from the buyer to the seller. So controlling the assets was and is the only way to wealth. If you want to know, is there a true way to wealth? Yeah, the only way to wealth, as can be borne out by the history of wealth, is to control assets. So in the past, you either inherited those assets, you won those assets in a war, you bought those assets, or you were given those assets. So what happened in the past? You either inherited those assets, you won them in a war, or you bought those assets, or you were gifted those assets. And that really explains the history of war, because wars are fought over assets. They're not fought over insults, they're fought over assets. When a king mobilized his army and invaded another territory, it was to control more assets. When people defended their territory, it was to keep control of their income generating assets, like their land or their waters or their airspace, all income generating assets. So in every economic age, there were 4 income generating assets as follows. These are the 4 T's. There was number 1, territory, right? If you owned land, territory, that could be exploited for income, and it was an income generating asset, because we were an agricultural society, and if you had land, you could farm the land. So territory is the first T. Second T is tools, okay? Third T was tension. And when I say tension, I really mean supply-demand tension. In other words, there's more demand than there is a supply. And whenever there's more demand than there is a supply, then the value of your offer goes up. Someone need to shout your amen. There needs to be market tension around your offer, in that there's more demand for it than there is a supply. So in the past, where there was demand for food and not enough supply, that's tension. Okay, if there was demand for boats and nets, more demand than supply, then there was tension. You could go into business, right, building boats, building nets, because the demand is there. And 4 was technicians. Technicians were the people who worked the farms, the people who built the boats, the people who built the housing, the people, the actual labor or the laborers. So if you were going to be wealthy in previous eras, you needed to own territory, tools. There needed to be tension, but supply-demand tension, and you needed to have an army of technicians. And you needed all of those things in order to be wealthy. If you look at the history of wealth, anyone that was wealthy, they owned territory, they had the tools, the tension was there, and they commanded an army of technicians. And without these, in the past, you could not become wealthy. That is until today. Woo! Yep, we are at the dawn of a new age. We are in the midst of a revolution and an evolution of civilization, literally, We are at the dawn of a new era, a new age. And until you realize that this is a new economy, a new economic era, a new economic age, if you fail to realize that, you're going to be playing the old game by the old rules, aiming at the old goalposts without realizing that the goalposts have moved, the game has changed, the rules have changed, and you cannot win the new game playing by the old rules. We're at the dawn of a new economic age in which the old is at war with the new. Now, that's why we're having so much trouble in our economies. All over the developed world, the economy is an issue. The economy is in trouble. The economy is strained, it's stretched, it's struggling, it's suffering. The reason it's suffering is because of a war between the new age and the old age. Because we can't get enough people fast enough into the new age. And yet the new age is taking over and consuming all of the old industries and all of the old opportunities. And so that's creating a lot of economic instability, a lot of economic uncertainty, because we're at the dawn of a new economic age. So for thousands of years, we lived in the agricultural age, in which the engine of the economy, the drivers of the economy, were fundamentally agricultural. Then at the turn of the last century, we moved into the industrial age, which saw the mass production, the age of mass production, steel, railroads, factories, the factory school system, all of that came out of the Industrial Revolution. And of course, the slave trade was abolished, not simply because of Puritans and people with conscience, right, over the atrocities and the barbarism of slavery, but because it no longer made any economic sense to buy slaves to work the land, when actually we were in a new age, which was the industrial age. And what they needed in the industrial age was a new kind of slave. So they created the factory school system to mass produce the new wage slave. That was the industrial age. But guess what? Right now, we are in a revolution because we are at the dawn of the digital age. The digital age. The what? The digital age. I want you all to write in the chat box, the digital age. The digital age is the matrix of digital connections, currency, communications, and commerce, in which you literally engage the world, explore the world digitally. Okay, so we explore the world today digitally. You know, if you're going to go on a holiday, what do? You go online, you look it up. If you're going to buy your air tickets, you pull out the phone, you pull out the tablet, you pull out the desktop, you buy the tickets. If you're buying tickets to anything, any kind of event, you're going to do it online. You're going to explore it. You're going to engage it all online. Why? Because we've now moved into this digital age and we're at the dawn of it. And there are some new terms that we're having to get used to and some new ideas that we're having to get used to. And it's very difficult for those of us in my age range who grew up in this kind of manual world, okay, where we understood things, okay? We're now crossing over into this digital age where we're having to unlearn everything and relearn everything just in order to keep up. But let's start over here on the bottom right, apps and applications, okay? Apps, applications, like we're having to get used to this now, that there's an app for everything. We're having to utilize our mobile phones for much more than making calls, because there is a world of applications and possibilities and access and information at the touch of a button on our phones. What about AI, artificial intelligence? This is predicted. It's predicted that AI, when it comes to fruition, is going to claim or wipe out 1/3 of the top jobs in virtually every industry. Artificial intelligence is going to be a fact and facet of life in every sector and industry, and in every organization that you engage. Artificial intelligence is going to become a part of that. What about the Internet of Things, IoT? The Internet of Things describes the fact that things are now connected to the internet, like your heating system, your cooling system, your fridge, your freezer, like your front door, your garage, so that you can remotely control things in your home from the internet. You can turn things on, you can turn things off, you can see what's on, what's off, you can watch things, you can speak to Alexa, you can give commands. This is the Internet of Things, and the goal is to get to the place where absolutely everything that is manufactured has Bluetooth connectivity, Wi-Fi connectivity, and can be remote controlled from anywhere in the world. That's frightening. It's the Internet of Things. What about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, alternatives to the banking system? 6G, right? We now have 5G, but when they roll out 6G, it's predicted it's going to make 5G seem very, very slow because of the speed and the connectivity of 6G. So these are new realities, okay? And we can bury our head in the sand and pretend that it's not happening and hope that it's not, but it is happening. And it's happening. And guess what? The pandemic and the lockdown accelerated the inevitable. We were inevitably moving into this new digital era, but the pandemic accelerated that. Because we were locked down, we were forced to use applications. We were forced to connect online. Many people discovered Zoom in the pandemic. Didn't know anything about Zoom. I was using Zoom before the pandemic, but a lot of people never heard of Zoom. But everyone now is familiar with Zoom and Google Meets and all of these ways to connect with people, because we were forced to do that. And it accelerated the inevitable. Now, are there dangers in the digital age? Yes, there are. I've got 4 of them listed here. The digital age will usher in unprecedented skepticism. Unprecedented skepticism. What does that mean? It means we're going to be very skeptical about who we're dealing with in this digital age. And we're skeptical. We're skeptical now of an email, of a text message, of an offer, of an opportunity, of an advert. We're skeptical, okay? The digital age will usher in unprecedented levels of fraud and cyber threats. And so there's good reasons why we are skeptical. And the good reasons why we are skeptical is that there are very real cyber threats and fraudsters out here making claims and false offers, and it's very organized. Number 3, the digital age will usher in a new feudal system with nobles and serfs. In other words, they're going to become new lords and new peasants. And finally, the digital age will create a war of words, a clash of ideas, and a battle for beliefs. Now, we're seeing that particularly around politics, right? Politics in every country right now is a battlefield, a minefield. It's the war of words, the clash of ideas, the battle for beliefs. Years ago, we didn't have Twitter, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have TikTok, we didn't have these things, right, that allowed for millions of people to become journalists. The war of words and the clash of ideas was not as intense. Today, it's absolutely intense, not just in the arena of politics, but also in the arena of religion. And there are several other arenas in which the digital age has ushered in this ideological warfare. So I'm going to turn now to exactly how you can create wealth in this new age. I'm going to start by saying that the formula for failure, first thing you need to do is realize what the formula for failure is. So you will fail in the digital age if you, number one, fail to realize what age you're actually in. If you fail to realize that you're now in a digital world in which people explore and engage the world digitally, you're going to fail. Okay? If you have no plan to move your business online, to utilize online tools in order to market and sell your offers and opportunities, if you fail to realize that, you're going to fail in the digital age. Number two is the failure to focus on what you can control. Right? Because with all of these news headlines, you're going to end up focusing on things you can't control. So your brain space is full of what's happening in Ukraine. It's full of what's happening in the Middle East. It's full of what's happening in other parts of the world, or it's filled with whatever the headlines want to give you. Well, if you focus on things you cannot control, that is a formula for failure. So what you need to focus on is the things you can control, and that is a formula for success. Number three is to fail to claim your own digital territory. Woo! If you fail to claim your own digital territory, by the way, your digital territory is called a domain. Oh, help me now. It's called a domain. Right? So the failure to have your own domain and all of its subcategories in terms of your social presence, the failure to claim your own digital territory is the formula for failure in the digital age, because digital territory is now called a domain. And guess what? We're now moving into kingdom language, dominion language, original language. So what if I told you that God has already given to every kingdom citizen an income generating asset that is future proof and fail safe? We'll try it again. What if I told you that God has already given to every kingdom citizen an income generating asset that is future proof and fail safe? So you don't have to buy it. You don't have to steal it. You don't have to win it in a war. You don't have to buy it with money. It's yours and no one can take it from you. Wow and wow. That is exciting to me. It's exciting to me to think that actually I don't have to go to war to win someone else's income generating assets. I don't have to hope that parents left me an estate or income generating assets. I don't have to go and buy someone else's, because God has already given to every one of us an income generating asset. And if you'd like to know what it is that God gave to every one of us, then I want you to shout in the chat box, I want to know. I want to know. Yep, you're already in that chat box saying, tell me, I want to know. I want to know. Love it, love it, love it. Great. So here goes. What's in a name? What's in a name? Proverbs 22, verse 1. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. Hold on a second. Why should I choose a good name over great riches? Why should I choose favor over silver and gold? Why? Because your good name is the asset that will generate great riches, and favor is the asset that will generate silver and gold. But if you have great riches, silver and gold, without the good name and without favor, that silver and gold is going to run out. Or you're going to have to acquire it by war, by aggression. You're going to have to acquire it by stealing, by fraud. No, We don't need to do that, because if we have the good name and we have favor, if there's favor on your good name, then that will be the asset that generates great riches and silver and gold. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 1 says a good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. Okay, that's really saying better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. That your legacy will be better than your inheritance. That's really what it's saying here. When it says the day of death is better than the day of one's birth, your legacy should be better than your inheritance. In other words, you should, you know, if you were not born into a rich family, or if you did not come from a rich family, then a rich family must come from you. Somebody need to scream in the chat box. If you did not come from a rich family, then a rich family must come from you. That's what it means. The day of death is better than the day of one's birth. Your legacy outweighs your inheritance, what you inherited at birth, but what you leave at death should be so much. There should be such a big difference, because if you didn't come from a rich family must come from you. But according to Ecclesiastes 7 verse 1, your good name is better than precious ointment, which is a metaphor for healing, medicine, perfume, beauty, all of the anointing, the name, the name, the name. So what is your name? So in modern terms, your name is your personal brand. So I want you all to write in the chat box, my personal brand. Your name is your personal brand. And in the digital age, we don't do business with companies anymore. We don't trust companies anymore. We do business with the people that we know, we like, and we trust. That's what's happening. And that's going to happen more and more and more. We're not going to do business with any company if we don't know who's behind it, who's running it, who owns it, who am I dealing with. I need to know who I'm dealing with, because we're only going to do business in the future with the people that we know, like, and trust, which is why your name becomes an income generating asset if it's known, liked, and trusted. What does your name represent? Well, it's your ID. It's who you are. It's your association, what you're associated with, your reputation, okay? What you're good at, your qualification, your brand, bond, signet, and seal. A good name means being known, liked, and trusted in your field. What does it mean to be known? Well, it means that all the key people and prospects know you and the profile you have created for yourself. Okay, so to be known means that there's 100, 1,000, 10,000 people that know you, right? They know your concepts, your ideas. They know you because you've created an online profile that people start to know you. Lots of people start to know you. Okay, when I started out on this formula, there were several hundred people who had subscribed to my YouTube channel. Now we're just shy of 12,000 people subscribed to my YouTube channel. So there's at least 12,000 people that know me. We're just shy of 16,000 people on Instagram. So there's 16,000 people that know me there. And then there are other platforms that I'm on that has thousands of people. So guess what? I'm known. Being known, not by everyone. Oh, everyone doesn't matter. It's about being known by the people in your field. But it's not enough to be known to have a good name. You have to be liked. Okay, so that means that your content is considered useful, helpful, accessible, and easy to digest. So we like you. Why? Because your content, your messaging is useful, it's helpful, it's accessible, and it's easy to digest. And then trusted. That means you're considered a trusted advisor, a pillar of the community, and the buyer's friend. So Personal brands. The new income generating asset is a good name or a personal brand. Without a magnetic and attractive personal brand, the new age will work against you. With a visible and credible personal brand, the new age works for you. And I've just given you some more scriptures here. The two we read, but here's another one, Genesis 12, verse 2, where God says to Abraham, and I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great so that you will be a blessing. So what comes in between being blessed and being a blessing is magnifying your name. Okay. And I know that we, as believers, we want to magnify his name. But guess what? If your life is to become a blessing to others, then God wants to magnify your name. I will make your name great and you will be a blessing. Now, I'm going to show you the way to wealth. And are we having fun right now? Are you learning something? Is this blessing you right now? I'm going to check the chat box right now. I want to know if this is blessing you, if this is opening eyes. Thank you, Bruno. He said, yes, sir. Yep, I'm seeing it. Yep, it's blessing me, says Myron. It's Drone says yes. Yep, it's all the yeses. It's good. So those of you who've been on my webinars before, you've now figured out I've learned how to read the chat box without coming off the screen. Yeah. Okay. Corey, thank you. Angela, thank you. Joseph, thank you. This is powerful. So watch this one now. Your personal brand is your great I am. Now, I don't mean this to sound sacrilegious because we know who the great I am is. The great I am, Yahweh, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who revealed himself to Moses at the burning bush, is the great I am. But you are his image and his likeness. There must be some greatness to your I am. If you are his image and his likeness, his reflection and resemblance, then there must be something great about your I am. And your personal brand is your great I am. And I am here is an acronym that stands for, number one, your great idea. The strength of your brand is the size and scope of the idea that you represent. So your personal brand isn't so much about you. It's about what you represent. It's an idea that you represent. So my personal brand as the business bishop is not about Wayne Malcolm. It's actually about an idea bigger than Wayne Malcolm that my brand as the business bishop represents. I represent the idea that God calls believers to the marketplace, that he equips them to prosper and prevail, to take territory, to increase influence, to become credible, visible agents and ambassadors for heaven on earth. These are big ideas. Well, my brand represents a big idea that God wants you to prosper, to be successful, to be influential and credible in your field, to increase the influence of the kingdom in the earth. These are big ideas. So what gives my brand power is the size of the idea that it represents. So your great I am is, first of all, the great idea that your brand represents. Number two, the A stands for the great association. So your name must become synonymous with that great idea. So that when we think of you, your personal brand, we straight away think of the big idea. Now, we're never going to think of your big idea unless you have a presence online and you have an audience, and you are posting, teaching, guiding, sharing, mentoring, coaching, or at least putting out your opinion, unless you're doing that, we're not going to associate you with an idea that's bigger than you. M is the great mission. Your mission is to serve a segment of the marketplace with your gift. So I have a gift, and my mission is to serve my people with that gift. That's the mission. So I make offers, like I did tonight, a webinar. I put out posts on YouTube, sometimes on Instagram, right? Sometimes on other platforms. But I'll put out those posts. Why? Because it's my mission to serve my people with my gift. Now, let's look at what I've written at the bottom here. Authority comes from the ability of the one you represent. So where does authority come from? You know, what gives you authority? It's the ability of the one you represent, because authority means that you represent something bigger than you. So if you have authority, it's been given to you by someone or something that has ability beyond you. So a police officer, an officer of the law, has authority because they represent the state, they represent law enforcement, they represent the government, which is bigger than any one criminal or any criminal gang or cartel. So the police can operate with authority because they represent the ability of something else. When I come to the marketplace with my message, I come with authority because I represent the ability of someone bigger than me, and bigger than you, and bigger than my critics, and bigger than the subtractors and detractors, and bigger than the internet. The idea is bigger, and the one who gave the idea is bigger, so I can move with authority. So I said that to say this, that your brand has power in as much as it represents a big idea and has great association and has mission attached to it. So how do we create wealth in the digital age? Are you ready? Are you ready? That was all context for the concept. Woo! You ready? Jill says she's ready. Puleng is ready. Aaron is ready. Okay, we ready. So watch this. Creating wealth in the digital age. See, because you don't need the farms and the factories anymore. In the agricultural age, you needed the farm. In the industrial revolution, you needed the factory. What do you need in the digital age? Okay. The new farm, the new factory is digital territory. So watch this. Here's the 4 steps from left to right. Find your own field of favor and your own river of revelation. I'm going to come to that. Your field of favor and your river of revelation. Now, am I being biblical here? Yes. Because see, the original man, Adam, God took him and put him in the Garden of Eden, which was his field of favor, and it was his field of fortune, and it was his field of potential, because every tree that was good, that bore every fruit-bearing tree that was good for food, God planted it in that garden. So actually, this was his field of favor. This was his field of fortune. And what came out of that field was a river that watered this field of favor. Now, I'm going to show you how that applies in the digital age, but you must find your own field of favor and your river of revelation. Number 2, top right, become a visible and credible authority in your field. Why? Because your great I am is not just your great idea, it's also your great association. So if we're going to associate you with that great idea, you're going to need to become visible and credible, and you're going to need to have authority in your field. You're going to need to be the go-to person. You're going to need to be considered the expert, the general, the king of the thing, the queen of the scene. That's you, the biggest name in the game. That's you. So you become this, not accidentally, but intentionally and strategically over time. Number 3, build a community. That's a following and a tribe around your message. Build a community, a following, and a tribe around your message. Number 4, populate the field with offers, opportunities, events, and experiences. So that when people come into your world, they come into a world of adventure, a world of opportunity, a world of discovery, a world of support and assistance, where there are offers and opportunities, events and learning experiences that they can take advantage of. In the same way that if you go to Paris, you may go to Paris in order to see the Eiffel Tower. Okay? You may go to Italy in order to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But you're going to need to stay in a hotel. You're going to eat at restaurants. Okay? You're going to take transportation to get around the city. You're going to visit the theater. You're going to visit the museums. Because what they've done is they've said, look, when you come into our world, we're going to make sure that everything you need is available for you in this world. So your brand becomes the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Your brand becomes the Eiffel Tower that brings people into a world that you've intentionally populated with offers and opportunities, events, and experiences. Now, I've said this before. I'm just going to say it one more time. In the digital age, the only people that matter are your people. In other words, we're not trying to do this for the whole world. You know, you're not trying to boil the ocean. You're not trying to get everyone to like you, because guess what? Everyone ain't going to like you. You're not trying to get everyone to agree with you, because guess what? Everyone ain't going to agree with you. You're not trying to win over everyone, because guess what? Everyone cannot be won over. There are people that you're assigned to. Like, no one is assigned to everyone. You're only assigned to a specific audience. And that audience is made up of people that know you, like you, and trust you. And you're going to build that audience intentionally, strategically, people that know, like, and trust you. And the key is to be considered the king of a thing, the queen of a scene, the lord of a realm, the master of a craft, a solution center, and the main name in a game. You're not assigned to everyone, so forget the market. The only market that matters is yours. Do not covet your neighbor's field. Instead, cultivate, populate, dominate, and replicate your own field. All right, because see, well, I could go into it, but I'm going to go into it on this slide right here. Your field of favor is watered by your river of revelation. Woo! Now, some of you can already see that just in me or some other people that you follow online. You'll see that their field of favor is watered by their river of revelation. And God took the original man and put him in a field of favor that was watered by a river of revelation. What is your river of revelation? Your river of revelation is your unique understanding of an issue. I'm going to say it again. Your river of revelation is your unique understanding of an issue. Woo! I want you to know that you have a unique understanding of an issue. The issue could be marriage and relationships. The issue could be children and parenting, and young people. The issue could be careers and personal finances. The issue could be business, sales and marketing, or wealth creation. The issue could be spirituality, faith, uh, devotion, personal growth. Whatever issue is your issue, you have unique understanding of that issue. You know why? Because you have a unique experience with that issue and you have a unique perspective on that issue. Now, I guess we have understandings on a wide range of issues, but there is always going to be your field of excellence, experience, and expertise, where you broke through a barrier that many people are still blocked by that barrier. You survived a circumstance, a situation that many people are sinking in that situation right now. You are succeeding right now where many others are just surviving. And in that field of excellence, experience, expertise, you have a rich river of revelation. Because see, if you've done well in that area, if you've done well in that area, don't take for granted that everyone is doing well in that area. There are hundreds that are not doing well, perhaps thousands who are not doing well, perhaps tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions who are still struggling where you are now succeeding, who are still blocked where you've already broken through. This now, your unique understanding of that issue is your river of revelation. And the Bible says, Genesis 2, verse 10, and a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. This is why my coaching system, my entire coaching system is called the 4 streams success system. And it's based on a revelation that I see right here in this passage, that actually these 4 streams were not income streams. In Genesis 2, verse 10, they were not incoming streams because the river went out of Eden. And it split into 4 rivers, 4 heads, it became 4. 1 became 4. And these were not incomes, these were outflows. These were outputs, these were outcomes. And I began to realize that, look, if I'm going to change the world, then this river that's coming out of me is going to need to have 4 expressions. It's going to need to have 4 outflows, 4 outputs, 4 outcomes. And then, because I'm a student of business systems as well as a student of the Bible, I realize that every business that is doing well in the world today is paying attention to 4 things, right? Every business. Now, they may say it in different ways. Some are conscious of it, some are not conscious of it. Different teachers are going to say this in using different language, but the reality is that all truth is parallel, that a truth is a truth, even if you say it in a different way. And so when I looked at every business system that is making sense, that's working, I realized that there were 4 streams at play. So let's look at the 4 streams. Your river of revelation must split into 4 streams. So let's start here on the left. The river that flows through your field of fortune is your revelation. Your revelation is your unique understanding of an issue. Okay, so what I have here is my unique understanding of an issue. It could be a personal issue. It could be a professional issue. It could be a business-related issue. Could be a spiritual issue. But I have a unique understanding of the issue because that issue was my issue. That's where I was blocked. That's where I was sinking. That's where I needed the most help. That's my river of revelation. But that river of revelation must become 4 rivers. And here are the 4 rivers. Here are the 4 streams. And if your business can achieve these 4 things, You are going to become wealthy without owning land or a factory or access to capital, as in, able to get all kinds of credit for your corporation, which is all good, great for people that do that. But you can become wealthy literally utilizing the asset God gave you, which is your good name. So once your name becomes associated with this river of revelation, here's the 4 things that need to happen. Number 1, you need to establish authority in that field. You need to become an authority in that issue, in that area. That's someone that's credible and trusted. So, how do you establish your authority in a field? How do you increase your visibility, your credibility, your authority in that field? Well, that's exactly what I want to help you to do. Number 2, audience. Okay? So everyone that's doing well right now in the digital age has an audience. They have a following. This is not just people that like their pictures. It's people who actually leverage from their ideas. And when you have a significant following, this is a following of people who leverage from your ideas, from your teaching, from your posts, from your comments, from your guidance. You now have a significant audience. And what's a significant audience? Is it the size of the audience, or is it the quality of the audience? It's not the size of the audience, it's the quality of the audience. Okay? It's not quantity, it's quality. Because you can have 1,000 followers who are interested and curious, but they are not invested, right? They're interested, but they're not invested. They're curious, but they're not serious. It'd be better for you to have 10 serious people in your audience than 1,000 curious people in your audience. So how do you go about building a significant following? Again, it's something I'd like to teach you. Number 3 is your offers. Okay. So now you've come to Paris, right? You're going to need somewhere to stay. You're going to need transportation. You're going to need somewhere to eat. You're going to need other entertainment. These are the offers, the opportunities, the adventure, the experiences that you make available to your audience. Now, we call these products and services. So how do you structure your offers, okay, to where you're able to serve your people at various levels? You're able to serve them and meet them where they are, right? So, each of us have different depth of pocket, right? It's like a flight, okay? A flight from London to New York, from New York to London. Some people are going to get the economy ticket and they're going to be happy with that. Others are going to want an upgrade. They're going to want to go business class. Others are going to want to go first class. Some are going to want to go premium economy. Why? For their own reasons. That's what they want to do. It's the same plane. It's going to take off the same time. It's going to land the same time. But there are people who don't want the economy. They want premium economy. They don't want a premium economy. They want business. They don't want a business. They want first. Okay. So you have to structure your offers in such a way that you're able to deliver a different quality of service to people who want more, people who want something that's more boutique, more bespoke. Structure your offers. Then automation. Let me tell you something. If you do not put certain functions of your business on autopilot with the right software and the right systems in place, then you're going to be awake every hour of every day, reading every email, responding to everything yourself. Instead of owning a business or an asset, you're going to own a job, and you'll never experience the freedoms, time freedom, financial freedom, freedom of mobility, freedom of expression. You're never going to have those freedoms until you can automate your business. So people have come to me over many years because of my professional consulting and business coaching services with a problem in the business, and without fail, the problem is one of these four things. Like if the business is not working, it's one of these four things that's not working. They either do not have authority in the field, or they do not, or they're speaking to the wrong people. They don't have the significant following. It's the wrong audience. You're making great offers to the wrong audience. Or you're not making great offers. The offers are not right. Okay? Or they haven't been packaged right, positioned right, priced right. There's issues with your offers. Or the problem is automation. There isn't a system at work. There's nothing that's happening automatically. There's no system, or the staffing doesn't understand the system, or the wrong software is being used, but it's not automated. It's consuming your time and your mind and your life and your energy. In every single case, it's one of these four things that's not working for that business. So when I go in to fix a business, or to turn around a business, or to help scale a business, I focus on these four things. Because everyone I know that is absolutely flying, they have established their authority, they have built a significant following, they have the best products and services, and they have automated systems. So my question to you is this: what if I could show you how to find your own field of fun, something you absolutely enjoy, favor, and fortune? What if I could show you how to become a visible and credible authority in your field? What if I could show you how to build a community, a following, a tribe around your message? What if I could show you how to populate your field with products and services? What if I could show you how to do all of that in just 3 hours of intense training? Now, you've been with me just over an hour now. What if we had 3 hours and I literally showed you how to do this? How I do it, how my mentors do it, how my coaches do it, how the new world works digitally. If I could show you how to do that in 3 hours, what would that be worth to you? What would that be worth to you?
Well, I trust you were blessed by that presentation, and I want to challenge you to take it to another level, because in fact, I will be hosting a masterclass entitled The Thought Leadership Formula just within a few weeks' time. And of course, there is a link in the description. You can go to the page, find out all about it. But I really want to share with those people who are serious about creating generational wealth, serious about taking advantage of the attention economy in the digital age, serious about building that brand, attracting that audience, creating irresistible offers, and systematizing your business systems. You're serious about the 4 streams. I want to show you exactly how we do it. I want to show you how my friends do it. I want to show you exactly how you can take advantage of the greatest single opportunity in the history of the world for people, ordinary people, to become extraordinary, or to achieve and experience extraordinary results economically. I'm really talking about fundamentally changing your economic status. It's very possible. I want to show you how to do it in our masterclass, The Thought Leadership Formula. So look, do click the link beneath in this description so you can find out more about it. Secure your seat. Make sure that you are present when we are training, because it's going to be no nonsense, applicable, practical steps that you can take in order to realize the dream. Look, do not go before you watch these ads. Peace out, and we'll see you the next time.
Hey there, entrepreneurs. If you enjoy the teachings of Bishop Wasyne Malcolm, I've got something amazing for you. Introducing the New Breed Community, an exclusive online platform for kingdom-conscious entrepreneurs, professionals, investors, and creators. This isn't just a community, it's a movement where we discuss and explore kingdom concepts. Here, Kingdom-minded people connect, share, learn, and grow together. Inside, you'll find exclusive content from Bishop Wasyne Malcolm, including special sessions just for members. And the best part? It's free to join. The New Breed community sits on the Heartbeat platform, where Bishop Wasyne Malcolm is excited to meet you online. Join us for weekly Q&A sessions with Bishop Wasyne and get exclusive insights that can transform your life. Love to read? Join our book club to feed your mind and spirit. Got a prayer request? Post it and let's lift each other up. Have a testimony? Share how God's goodness is shining in your life. We're more than just a community, we're a movement. Discover the powerful relationship between your profession and your purpose. Join us now on the Heartbeat platform. Connect with us and let's grow together. Bishop Wasyne Malcolm and the New Breed community are waiting for you. So what are you waiting for? Hit that join button and step into a world of connection and growth. A warm welcome awaits you. See you on the inside.
Yo, it's time to rise, wake up from your sleep. Bishop Wasyne's got the guidance, the wisdom runs deep. Subscribe and like, let's spread this truth loud. Comment, share it wide, let's stand tall, be proud. Kingdom coaching, we got the plan. Success principles, grab a hold and take a stand. Subscribe, like, comment and share. Bishop Wasyne's teaching, we're climbing the stair. In the kingdom of hopes, together we'll thrive. With biblical truths, we'll keep dreams alive. Elevate your mind, shift that identity. In the marketplace of life, claim your clarity. Rule in the midst of the trials and the gloom. With faith as your armor, watch blessings consume. Stand firm, be bold, let your light be known. With each step forward, you'll claim your throne. Subscribe, like, comment and share. Bishop Wasyne's teaching, we're climbing the stair. In the kingdom of hopes, together we'll thrive. With biblical truths, we'll keep dreams alive.